When I got out of the military, the gynecomastia, combined with the fact that my life didn't turn out how I wanted to, I became really depressed, actually. For many years, I avoided making new life goals, actually. I kind of accepted the fact that I was gonna not like who I was. I was gonna just kind of get by in life. And I felt like this condition, which I had no control over, just kind of crushed my dreams. Hi, I'm Eric Russo. So I first noticed I had an abnormally large breast around the age of 13. Around 10, I started gaining weight, heavier than most of my peers. It culminated at the age of 13. My life's goal as a young teenager was to be a pilot, specifically a naval aviator. I put all my chips in that basket, started conditioning myself. Around 17, I sought admission to the U.S. Naval Academy and was actually congressionally nominated to the Naval Academy by my local representative. But part of the process was the physical. So at the age of 17, I had the physical with actually an Air Force doctor who first told me that I had gynecomastia. And he said it disqualified me from Naval Academy entrance. That was a tough pill to swallow because I felt like this condition, which I had no control over, just kind of crushed my dreams. The solution at the time was to join the Navy and have the Navy pay for the surgery. Join as an enlisted, you get full medical benefits. Part of that would be to request them to do the gynecomastia surgery. Turns out that they did not pay for it because they looked at it as a cosmetic surgery. So I went through the military with gynecomastia the entire time. That was very difficult too. In the military, you take group showers, you're very close to your shipmates, and it kind of echoed the same feelings that I had during high school, during physical education. Got made fun of a lot. Did my best to keep my shirt on, to keep full dress as much as I could. Even in sweltering heat, I stayed full clothed, avoided any physical activity beyond minimum to stay in shape for the military. When I got out of the military, the gynecomastia, combined with the fact that my life didn't turn out how I wanted to, I became really depressed, actually. For many years, I avoided making new life goals, actually. I kind of accepted the fact that, I was gonna not like who I was. I was gonna just kind of get by in life. Fast forward a few years later, I decided one day that, I'm almost 30 and I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of not liking who I am. I'm tired of not liking myself. And that's when I sought out gynecomastia surgery. I had searched for a doctor for about 12 years, finally landed on Dr. Cruz, and it's the best decision I ever made. In my particular case, the gynecomastia never brought any physical pain, no discomfort. It was all emotional discomfort and emotional pain, borderline depression even. I think the important thing with gynecomastia, for particularly a developing young male, is that your chest kind of defines who you are, and society may or may not have a role in that, underwear ads, things like that. But one thing that sets us apart from women is, men are supposed to have a flat chest, women aren't. That kind of defines your role as a male. So if you're not happy with one of your basic male traits, you're not gonna function normally. My father's reaction toward my gynecomastia was very unsupportive, really. His conclusion, his answer, his solution was, you're too heavy, just lose weight, and it'll solve your problem. Once I did that, and it didn't solve the problem, he didn't really have anything to say, but still I was stuck what do I do now? Once we even found out about the gynecomastia surgery, he didn't offer to try to find a way to fund it. So again, it was all back on me to correct this problem. So for many years, I felt like I was the only one in the world who had gynecomastia. I felt like my chest was the worst guy's chest in the world. No girl would like me. That also kind of made it difficult to find a doctor because I thought this was a very rare condition at the time. Searching for a doctor, I did it alone. I didn't tell anybody. Even when I had the surgery, I told very limited amount of family members, basically my mom, the immediate family who I was close to at the time. The reason I chose Dr. Cruz for the gynecomastia surgery was pretty simple, really. He had done so many surgeries. This is one of his specialties. I definitely didn't want it to be a cosmetic nightmare and have to redo it and it turned into a huge financial burden. One thing that drew me to Dr. Cruz is the fact that he seemed like he wouldn't do anything that he wouldn't feel would give you the results that you want. A lot of plastic surgeons I read about seem to be concerned with money, high volume customers, whereas Dr. Cruz seemed to cater to the person one-on-one, cater to individuals' needs, and even turn you down if he didn't feel like he would be able to give you what you wanted. And that was important. I didn't want to have false expectations. I wanted to be told exactly up front, this is what to expect, this is what I can do for you, and from there I'd make the decision. When I first walked through the door to meet Dr. Cruz and his staff for the consultation, naturally I was hesitant to take off my shirt. Again, even knowing that this was step one to solving the problem, I still felt uncomfortable taking my shirt off. Quickly, Dr. Cruz made me feel welcome. He wasn't weirded out by my body, didn't shy away from it. He welcomed it, immediately went to what I pointed out as my problem areas and the areas I didn't like. And, immediately told me, what I had going on, what I could expect, what he could do for me. It was just inviting and warming and welcoming, and I quickly grew acclimated to Dr. Cruz and his staff even. Just so welcoming, so warm, so kind, made me feel right at home, really. Dr. Cruz informed me that I wasn't the only person that had this condition, that it was widespread, that it wasn't my fault. I blamed myself for many years, even blamed my dad for letting me get heavy as a kid, which didn't help my situation, being almost self-loathing, which just was the worst thing for the depression. So Dr. Cruz kind of helped alleviate some of those feelings. It wasn't my fault, it was a medical condition. There was a solution, I'm not alone, and he's here to help me. That was the best thing I could have heard at the time. So when I first scheduled the actual surgery, I was excited, I was fearful, I had so many emotions going through my head. I asked myself, why did I wait so long? Why did you live with this condition and, not take advantage of your 20s and not, feel as good as you could in your 20s? Why did you wait so long? I quickly pocketed those feelings and just let the excitement and the joy take spark. As far as the recovery, Dr. Cruz told me exactly what to expect. He told me the pain would be minimal. It's a very easy surgery. It would be like a 90-minute in and out, outpatient, general anesthesia. All of those things were true too. It was a very easy recovery. I'm glad I did it. The best thing I could have ever done in my entire life. I feel amazing about my chest. I take off my shirt anytime I can. Having that surgery also gave me the confidence to work out, and build muscle up in my chest. I'm proud of my body now. I'm proud of the work I put into it. I'm proud of the decision I made to choose Dr. Cruz. And again, it's just a turning point in my life, the best thing I've ever decided to do. The advice I would give to the parents in those situations is be supportive of your children. Even if they're, a little overweight, don't necessarily chalk it up to, you're just heavy. At the very least, maybe seek help, seek a professional opinion, and, be supportive of that person along the way, because it doesn't matter what you think about their chest, it matters what they think about their chest. I want to thank Dr. Cruz and his wonderful staff for what they've done for me, for what they continue to do for me. They continue to call me back for follow-up consults and follow-up pictures. You have changed my life. Thank you for making me the man I am today, helping my life transition to a happy life, and I feel like this is kind of my fairy tale ending. This is the start to a great ending.
Explore your path to confidence. Learn more at lagyno.com.